If I woke up tomorrow at 40 years old carrying an extra 10 kilos with the energy of a wet sock, this is exactly what I would do over the next 90 days. Not the theory, the actual plan week by week in 3 simple phases. And I can tell you now it works because I've watched hundreds of men over 35 run this exact sequence inside our coaching program. Phase 1, days 1 to 30. Find the handbrakes and build the base. Before I changed a single thing, I'd get my blood work done properly. This sounds completely logical to skip, and that's exactly why it catches everyone out. You assume that the problem is a lack of effort or a lack of willpower, but for men over 35, it's very often biological. Take my client Richard, for example. He was already physically active day to day, and in good lighting, he could see the outline of his abs. In his mind, he thought he just needed to tidy up his diet. His bloods, however, told a completely different story. Immune system suppressed, tanking his recovery. Estrogen levels sky high, leading to stubborn fat around the hips and the waist. And cortisol through the roof, showing significant stress burden. So rather than just throwing him into a high volume training plan like most coaches do, we fix the inputs driving those markers first. The binge drinking, the refined sugar, the nervous system dysfunction. Ironically, by doing less and allowing the body to properly recover and pull down systemic stress levels, the fat started coming off like someone had finally released the clutch. When you understand the root issues keeping it on, everything changes. Then we need to set the base. And this starts with a moderate calorie deficit. I'd work out my calorie maintenance with a simple online calculator. My personal recommendation is the Harris-Benedict formula. Then I'd eat about 500 calories below it. I do want to double emphasize though that your deficit should be no more than 500 calories below your maintenance. Why? Well, because slashing calories to the floor burns off muscle, tanks your metabolism, and makes you hungrier than a fat kid on keto. Slow and steady is always the right way. So with all of this in place, I'd aim to lose no more than 1% of my body weight per week. So if I weigh 90 kilos, for example, I would want to lose around 900 grams. You don't need to be super aggressive, you just need to be boringly consistent. Next, you need to think about consuming protein at every meal, aiming for roughly 1 gram per pound of your body weight daily. And here's a bonus tip almost no one will tell you. When it comes to meal times, eat your protein first on your plate before consuming your carbohydrates, as this will help regulate blood glucose levels, helping you with hunger, energy, cravings, and much, much more. Now, hitting total protein requirements is absolutely key because it keeps you full, it protects your muscle, and it raises your metabolism because muscle is the engine that keeps burning calories even while you're sat watching the telly. Once you have this in place, next up, I would ensure that I was strength training consistently. 3 sessions per week, not 6. Look at it like this. A hard 45-minute gym session burns maybe 400 calories. 1 protein bar and a well-earned flat white, and it's completely gone. The gym's job is to build and keep muscle. The kitchen's job is to lose fat. Don't get the two confused. Next up, you want to think about 8,000 to 10,000 steps every single day. Build it into your daily routine. Set a target of hitting 3,000 steps in your morning routine, as this builds momentum for the day ahead. This is the quiet workhorse of the whole plan, as it helps you burn so many more calories and helps to keep the body healthy and functional. So that's phase 1. But here's the thing. In the first 30 days, most men lose weight on this and think that they've cracked it, which is exactly when the plan tries to fall apart, which brings us directly onto phase 2. Days 31 to 60, survive the plateau. Somewhere around week 6, the scale will stop moving, at least at the pace that you're used to. This hasn't happened because you've done something wrong. It's happened because of simple physics. You're now lighter, you're moving less mass through space, so you're not burning as many calories. An inevitable part of this fat loss process. The only difference between the ones who succeed and the ones who don't is what they do next. Most men panic and get frustrated and fed up. They either quit or they throw the kitchen sink at it, slash calories, add fasted cardio, or train 7 days a week in order to move the needle. That's the trap, because now they've played every single card in their deck, and when the next plateau hits, they have nothing left. So here's what I would do instead. 1 adjustment, just 1. Either you drop calories by about 200 per day, or you add around 2,000 steps per day. You don't do both, you only pick one. One small lever, wait a week and see what happens. Then keep the other levers in the back pocket for later when needed. You have to expect hunger. A bit of hunger during fat loss isn't a warning light, it's the sound of the process actually working. You don't need to eat the second you feel a little bit peckish, but, and this matters, we're talking manageable hunger that comes and goes on a moderate deficit. If you're constantly ravenous, dizzy, or thinking about food all day, your deficit is very likely too big, so ease off. This is a 90-day plan, not a hostage situation. This is also where sleep becomes absolutely non-negotiable, and I'll own this one personally because I learned this the hard way. When I finally had my come to Jesus moment and sorted it, everything changed. Hunger dropped, strength came back, and the fat loss got dramatically easier. I no longer felt like I was fighting myself at every turn for every pound of weight loss. 7 to 9 hours per night, cool dark room, no screens the hour before bed, daylight in my eyes first thing in the morning. A super simple formula with profound results. If you take one thing from this training today, let it be this: fix your sleep first and the whole plan gets about twice as easy. Then there's phase 3, days 61 to 90, the move that feels completely wrong. Around day 60, I would deliberately stop the deficit, eat more food on purpose in the middle of a fat loss plan. I know what you're thinking. Every instinct says that that's throwing away your progress. 2 months of dieting leaves your body run down and beginning to question if its survival is at stake. So it starts fighting back, pushing up your hunger hormones, driving down your motivation to move and train, tanking your energy. This is just your body's way of saying, if you keep starving me, I'm gonna die. And this begins to happen generally around the 60-day mark. I've watched hundreds of men do this inside the Alpha 21 program, and the pattern is almost comical. They fight me on it and say they don't need it, they feel fine. But when they take the week, they come back saying they feel stronger, they train like animals, and generally the weight plummets faster than before. The men who refuse it grind themselves into the ground and limp across the line if they ever get there at all. Then, for the final 23 days after your maintenance week, I'd go back into the same moderate deficit. Protein first, 3 lifts, steps high. But now I'd pull one card from my back pocket, the one adjustment I saved in phase 2 if progress needs a nudge. You could add 2,000 steps, you could add 30 to 60 minutes of zone 2 cardio, you could reduce calories by 200 per day, you could even do one more strength session if you felt like it, and as long as it fit within your routine. The choice here is yours. One last piece for the final month: food quality. Up to now, the plan works on calories and consistency, but if the fat around your middle is being stubborn, I would personally cut out ultra-processed food completely during the final push. This will suddenly make the deficit stop feeling like such a fight. Ultra-processed food is engineered in a lab to make you want to eat more of it, so focus on whole foods, mostly single ingredients, cooked by you. It's boring, but it's extremely effective. So let's stack the whole 90 days up. Days 1 to 30, get your bloods done, moderate calorie deficit around 500 calories. Never starving yourself, protein at every meal eaten first. 3 strength sessions, 8 to 10K steps. Days 31 to 60, you need to expect the plateau. Pull one small lever, fix your sleep like your results depend on it, because they do. Days 61 to 90, the maintenance week that feels wrong but saves the whole plan. Then one final controlled push with the food quality dialed right up. That's it. No detox teas, no 6-day training splits, no eating like a monk. Just the boring stuff sequenced properly with your biology working for you instead of against you. Now, one honest caveat to finish. 10 kilos in 90 days is realistic for a lot of men, but your number will depend on your starting point, your biology, and how consistently you run the plan. This is the process, it's not a guarantee because the rest is up to you. If you run all of this properly and the fat still won't shift, the problem usually isn't effort or willpower. It's one of those health handbrakes that we found in Steve. The cortisol, the inflammation, the hormones, and you cannot fix what you haven't measured. So if you want us to run your blood work, find your specific health handbrakes and build the plan around your biology instead of guessing, The link is in the description. And as usual, if you found this useful, please hit subscribe as I share a new video like this every single week. No nonsense, just what actually works, and the same things that have already transformed the lives of thousands of men like this over 35. I'll see you in the next video.